In a few weeks, we'll be talking about the Knicks representing the East.
Wow, we can talk about
crazy.
the New York Knicks
That's
representing the East in the NBA Finals. Oh my God. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You know, me and Cyrus are diehard, biased Knicks fans, but we have every right to believe that way because we're up against the 4 seed, the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers. We're up 3-1. So I'm going to say it. It's fuck Donovan Mitchell. It's still fuck Trae Young, honestly, since we're on top like this. I don't know if you guys are seeing the streets of Manhattan right now, but if the New York Knicks do manage to make the finals, New York City will be shut down.
Oh, hell, the mighty survivor of hell. Plop down from heaven to sail. Holy water that I scooped from the well. Fought tooth and a nail just to prevail. Monster ruthless as I move through the field. Feeling worried in a hurry like a 2-minute drill. To make a couple mil off a lucrative deal. Selling train of thought, name an artist who could derail. You never see it like a nigga hula hooping in jail. I got a friend smart as fuck, but he's stupid as hell. He swear to God ain't real since it ain't.
Welcome, everyone. This is the 2-Minute Drill Podcast, episode number 8. This is my co-host, Jacob. I am Cyrus. We're back at the studio, actually a different studio, but we're back at the work.
Yeah.
After a roughly 2-week layoff, we had a lot of stuff to do. We had Passover, other shenanigans, but we're back in the lab.
We're back, baby.
And we got a loaded week of sports to get into.
Yes, we do.
We got a big
Your
week.
boy is hyped.
We got some trades. We got some playoff matches to cover. Jacob, let's dive right in. You ready?
Let's get into this bitch. I'm ready for you, baby. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go, baby. Come on. Big week in sports. Let's do it.
Yesterday, New Yorkers got the trade that they've been waiting for months, okay? And the trade is Rodgers, Aaron freaking Rodgers, is going to the New York Jets, okay? And here's the trade. Let me break it down for you, okay? It is, so the Jets get Rodgers, the 15th pick, the Packers' 15th pick overall in this year's draft, the 117th pick, which is a 5th rounder, for they had to trade away the 13th overall pick, the 42nd overall pick, which is a 2nd rounder, and the 207th overall pick, which is a 6th rounder. And they also had to trade away a conditional 2024 2nd round pick that here's the kicker, that becomes a 1st rounder if Rodgers plays 65% or more of the plays this season, okay? What are your thoughts? Who won the trade? What are your thoughts?
Wow, okay. There's a lot to dive into. First things first, it's about damn time this trade was happening because so much time has been stalled out with this trade to the point where people didn't think it was going to go down. People are like, all right, maybe he's going to the Niners.
As time went on, I got less and less confident.
Yeah, people thought he was going to stay with the Packers at a point. We're like, all right, this is being really dragged out. Are they going to make a trade or not? The GM of the Jets came out. He said, we're trading for Rodgers, everybody. Don't worry. It's about time that Rodgers is a Jet, just like following the footsteps of Brett Favre, being a Packers legend, and then end of his career going to the New York Jets. So that's definitely interesting. But in terms of the trade itself, I think both ways they got a fair package. The Packers got solid compensation for, a quarterback who probably has a good couple years left. So the fact that you got anything out of that is great. They got the 15th pick, if I'm not mistaken. And if Rodgers plays, 10, 11 games next season, then that second becomes a first for them. So even better, I expect Rodgers to play those games. But yeah, just off the bat, the AFC is fucking stacked from top to bottom. We have so many teams. Right out, we already know that the AFC has those the three-headed monster in the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. And I think you can insert the Jets right in that tier with those teams because they are the most complete team in the NFL now. They were one quarterback away. They were pretty good last year. They had a solid overall team, but they were being held back by Zach Wilson, by Joe Flacco, Mike White, whoever was throwing the damn ball. Now insert Aaron Rodgers with one of the best defenses, and you have great skill players on offense like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. You have Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner on the other end of the field. It's championship or bust for the New York Jets. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. The Jets, like you said, they're the most complete team. They filled every hole possible at every position.
For sure.
And the one position that was left unfulfilled was the most important position in all of sports, and it was the quarterback position.
Exactly.
And they finally fulfilled this position. And so right now, the Jets have the 6th best odds to win the Super Bowl, tied with the Cowboys.
Okay.
So they're in the top 6. They have the 2nd best odds to win the AFC East. They're still behind the Bills.
Okay.
But I would say they're a lock to make the playoffs, but we're not hoping just for the playoffs.
They want
with
a
this
deep
team.
playoff run.
I think it's Super Bowl or bust. At least Super Bowl appearance or bust for this New York team.
But hold
the
on.
The window is small, but there's no.
They're ready. This team is built to go all the way, but if you put your shoes of a New York Jets fan right now, I know you said, like, all right, like, playoffs lock, they got to go there. The Jets haven't made the playoffs, and I think it's 12 years. And now that the Sacramento Kings have been in the playoffs now and they entered their drought, the Jets have the longest playoff drought in sports, in all of sports. So they did the right move.
Worldwide or just North American?
I don't know. Don't get into the details.
Okay.
I just know NBA, NFL, whatever it is. Longest drought. They did what they had to do to break that drought. So let's worry about them making the playoffs.
No.
And I think you're right. I think they're going to be an 11-win team. They could go 11-6. They're in a tough division too, bro. So
I understand it's a tough division. It's a tough conference.
It's a tough conference.
The difference between this conference and the NFC is a cakewalk. Mm-hmm. But you're really going to be satisfied if the Jets make the playoffs.
No, they need to make a deep playoff run, but I'm saying let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see them make the playoffs first. Who knows? Rodgers didn't have the greatest season last year. Maybe he's regressing.
He's coming off his statistically worst season of his career.
Right.
But he's got a lot of ball in him. And the weapons this year are way better than what he had last year.
Absolutely. And he has Alan Lazard still, too.
Yeah, which is on his wish list. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of good rapport there. And there's still they signed Miguel Harmon.
Yeah.
And Breece Hall was on pace for 1,100 yards last year. I mean, if you combine them with receiving 1,600 yards in total yards.
Yeah, he was going to be the Rookie of the Year.
He was going to be the Rookie of the Year. The pieces are there. And, yeah, you know what it is? I'm a Rodgers fan. I still believe in his talent. I still think he's a top 4 quarterback in this league. And in my opinion, he's the most talented thrower ever. So I think if you're just looking at the tangible talents, he has the talents and the requisite weapons to reach not just the playoffs. If they lose in the first round or second round, I'd be utterly disappointed.
Wow, yeah, definitely. And in the first round, who knows? They might end up going against the Chiefs,
okay, fine.
Because of how stacked it is.
No, because the Chiefs are going to be a bye. They're going to have the first round bye. They're going to have the first round bye.
But if the Jets end up being a wild card team, because I don't expect them to beat out the Bills, it's possible to beat out the Bills' division. I think they could verse the Bills or the Bengals in that first round. It could be tough. It could be a tough road to the finals.
And if the Bills get Derrick Henry.
I don't want to get in that Derrick Henry talk yet.
Yeah, no, that's scary.
The Eagles, Bills.
We're definitely not going to win the
I don't
division.
even want to think about that. Also, you can't forget about the Dolphins. Obviously, the Patriots cannot compete with these teams because I think the Dolphins, Bills, and Jets, all of those teams in that division could easily make not only a playoff push, but a run. You know, the Dolphins are still very solid. And as for the Jets, I totally agree. It is championship or bust. But when it comes back to the Rodgers talk, I think obviously Rodgers isn't the same MVP player that he's been, and he is definitely the most talented player to throw the football, arguably. But how about, despite the regression, entering a fresh start with the Jets, new team, he got out of his darkness retreat, everything, like he's out of the whole Packers hysteria, what was going on in Green Bay, new weapons, he has Nathaniel Hackett as a head coach. He's in a prime position to succeed, and this Jets roster is probably his best team, except maybe like 2 or 3 years he was with the Packers, maybe the Super Bowl run and like a couple other times, but this is probably Rodgers' best overall roster.
Mm-hmm. You're saying possibly or probably?
It is. From top to bottom, he's never had this many
If you're
great
incorporating
players.
the defense, it is by far the most talented two-way team
absolutely.
in his career. So Rodgers has played how many years? 18 years with the Packers?
About, yeah.
He's had a top 10 defense, I think, 2 to 3 times.
That's the thing.
Only 2 to 3 times.
Those are the only 2 teams I was
And the
mentioning.
one time he won the Super Bowl, they had, I think, a top 5 offense. A top 5 defense.
Right.
So when you give Aaron Rodgers
a good defense,
an elite, let alone elite, but if you give him even a solid defense, they're going to go very far. And this team allowed the second fewest points scoring wise. They allowed the second fewest points for a defense last year.
Wow.
And this is with rookie Sauce Gardner. He's going to get better.
It's going to get a lot better.
They might finish, I think they're a lock to finish top 3 in scoring defense, and they might finish as the number 1 scoring defense in the league. Give that to Rodgers. They're going to, like I said,
sky's the limit if you give that to Rodgers.
Yeah. And like you said before, this is like these are the pieces he wanted. He wanted Lazard. He wants to be with the Jets.
He likes the young guys too. He likes having Gary Wilson, explosive players, not fucking Randall Cobb breaking his leg.
I mean, he doesn't love young players. He don't love his
Christian Watson.
He likes young players who are good.
They're established.
Yeah,
the players that are on this team have already shown that they have a place in the NFL.
Yeah, and he gets the coach he wants. Like he wants all these things, and he has gotten all these things.
Yeah.
I love Rodgers. I want him to succeed, but I'm going to hold him to the same standard, especially as a New Yorker. I'm going to hold him to a hard standard. If he doesn't go far, I'm going to bash him.
Wow.
I'm going to bash him.
Rodgers, you better be
ready. I'm happy
ready.
that he's on the team. I'm so happy. I get to enjoy watching and going to Jets games now.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting. The Jets-Giants, when they play this season, that's going to be a fucking thriller. They're playing the Bills. You got to keep in mind, they're playing the Bills twice this year. They're playing the Dolphins twice this year. And other than that, they're true tough matchups. The Jets are going to be going against the Eagles in the regular season, the Chargers, the Cowboys. These are all great teams and great tests. These are games they should be winning. And obviously they're going to have a strong regular season, and that's given with Rodgers. But when it comes to the month of January, given the defense, given the receivers, given everyone is doing their thing and contributing, will Rodgers be playing his best football when it matters most in January and potentially February?
The past couple of years, he has not.
Exactly.
But I believe in him. Maybe I'm just a desperate fan who hasn't had postseason success.
Yeah.
But I'm like riding with my head at the same time, and I think my head says that he will come through when it matters most.
Okay. Only time will tell with that one, with that tale. But how about we discuss the other side of the trade and look at the Packers really quickly? Obviously, it's not as interesting, but is Jordan Love, the answer? Is Jordan Love going to be their guy? Are the Packers in rebuild mode? Are they retooling now? What's the future of Green Bay looking like without Aaron Rodgers?
There's absolutely no sample size on Jordan Love.
Right.
But one thing that will work in his favor is that they get all these pieces in the draft this year and maybe the first round of next year. And these are pieces that will help Love form into the player that they think he could be.
Right.
So that's the one thing going for him. You can't, like I said, you can't look at any play that there's no footage on him.
Yeah.
But I think if you add him, if you give him the right weapons, which is what the draft is going to be for, he could be a decent quarterback. I don't think he'll ever fill the shoes of Rodgers, of course not. But
were people saying the same thing about Rodgers when he came in for Favre? So
yeah, but you think Lightning is going to strike 3 times?
I don't think that's a great way to put it. I don't think Lightning is going to strike
3 times in Green Bay, Favre, Rodgers, and Love, all in perfect succession.
Yeah.
No way. They're on borrowed time, and I think Love is not going to be the answer. I think he's going to be okay at the best, but
we'll see. Listen, despite the past few years of a little bit of controversy, I think Green Bay in their history has put their quarterbacks in a position to succeed. So I think they'll continue doing that with Love. Is Love going to be a superstar? I don't know. It's just crazy that Rodgers goes to the AFC, and now NFC quarterbacks range from Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Dak, Daniel Jones, and then you go to the AFC, Mahomes, Allen, fucking Burrow, bro, fucking Aaron Rodgers, Lawrence, Herbert. The AFC is stacked. I don't know who's going to come out on top over there. But this NFL season is going to be exciting. And honestly, for the next few months, because this is the news we've been waiting for, we may not have as much NFL to talk about moving forward. But that is totally okay with me because we got
the draft.
We got the draft. And we will definitely discuss the draft.
Something might happen with D-Hop.
Yeah, pending a couple of situations with D-Hop, the draft, and unless something unexpected happens, NFL is starting to dry out, especially after the draft. But we cannot complain because it's the fucking NBA playoffs, baby. It's the NBA playoffs, and so far in round 1 of the playoffs, it has been a thriller. Every series has been very exciting to watch. It's been a lot of fun. Obviously, we don't have time to discuss every single series, but the main key, 5 or 6 series, we are definitely going to discuss. And yeah, right off the bat, let's get into these NBA playoffs. Who are we talking about first?
Let's go with the Lakers and Grizzlies.
Okay. Yeah. Lakers and Grizzlies. Definitely not a disappointment so far. Yeah. So,
do you want to start off, or should I chime in?
Give me your thoughts on last night's game. Let's hear it. Game 4.
So recording this on Tuesday. This is right after Game 4. And LeBron James did his thing.
Vintage LeBron, baby! Vintage LeBron! Come on! Can't tell me you're not hyped.
He had a different performance than what he normally has.
Yeah.
Normally he'll be 30 and 10, but he traded away 10 points and added it to the rebounding column. Now he's 20-20.
Did you see what Shaq said?
No, but I know he's the first Laker to have that kind of stat line since Shaq.
Yeah. No, LeBron had his first 20 rebound game for his 2020 since Shaq.
First ever, yeah.
And then, which is pretty crazy in year 20. Yeah. But Shaq yesterday after the game, he's like, yeah, so Dylan Brooks called out LeBron and said, I won't respect you till he has 40. And 20 points and 20 rebounds is 40, so hopefully he got Dylan Brooks' respect, as if he even cares about that.
No one should ever ask for
Dylan Brooks' respect. Okay? Nobody is interested in getting his respect.
I want to get into Brooks before the rest of the series.
Let's get him out of the way.
I've never been more happier to see a player unhappy than Dylan Brooks, okay? This guy is arguably the least likable player in history of maybe sports, okay?
Yeah.
And I call him a die Draymond Green. And what I mean by that is that he's just a shittier version of a guy who's a lot of talk. But the thing is, the difference between Brooks and...
backs his talk.
Exactly. The difference between Brooks and Green is that at least Green has the accolades, and he's a multi-champion, and he's like great on the defensive end. Brooks has nothing in his bag, and he has nothing in the playoffs to show for it.
Wow.
And ever since he said those words about LeBron, saying that he's old, Brooks has wet the bed. Let me look at his stats.
He's been wetting the bed.
Since he said that he's old and he continues talking this back to the media. By the way, he only talks when he's winning. Okay?
Yeah.
Only talks when
Yesterday
he's
like, I'm out when they asked for the media.
Two games in a row, he refused to talk to the
You
media.
always have to be available or you're going to look like a pussy.
Yeah.
That's just the fact of the matter.
2 games since, he has shot in totality 29% from the field, which is horrendous, and even worse from the 3. 17% from the 3, okay?
He stank, bro.
And he's obviously nothing on offense, but maybe we can say, he's decent defensively. In the 4 games, he has 1 steal and 0 blocks.
That's insane.
He's not even recording defensive stats, okay? And LeBron is 2 for 20 on him, so he's not stopping...
2 for 20, 12 for 20.
12 for 20 on Brooks, so it's not like he's stopping LeBron.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm so happy Brooks he feels like a clown right now, and he should be embarrassed. I'm so happy.
I agree, and I love the nickname Dylan the Villain. And you know, every sport, every series, you're gonna need that villain. So as annoying as Dylan Brooks is, I'm personally not complaining. He, like you said, he has been incredibly inefficient throughout these series, and he hasn't provided any positive impact for the Grizzlies. LeBron has done whatever he wants against him, and Dylan Brooks is a guy that just loves to talk, and he can't back it up. He'll talk the talk, but can he walk the walk? So far in this series, he has not shown that at all whatsoever. So Dylan Brooks, my condolences to you, my friend. You're still in the NBA, so you could only be so upset, but this series is going to LeBron and the Lakers. It's going to LeBron.
I also want to squash this like lie that LeBron James isn't clutch.
Okay, let's hear about this.
And I wish I have all the other stats with me. There's so many stats like in this scenario, this amount of time left, this like points, you're within this many points.
Right.
So many stats, but like I have one on hand, and the stats is LeBron is 7 for 12 on game tying and game winning attempts in the playoffs with less than 1 second left. Right. Okay. So he's 7 for 12. That's very efficient, especially efficient for playoff and clutch time, okay? No other player has more than 2 such shots, okay? And he has 7. And no other player has shot more than 50% on such shots. So he's the only one shooting at a high clip, and he's making a high volume of them. So this idea that he's not clutch, we're putting it to rest. LeBron James is clutch. You've seen enough game-winning and game-tying shots in his 20-year career to say that he is, in fact, clutch.
The fact that, forget about it going 7 for 12, the fact that in all his playoffs, he's made 7 shots in the last second to tie or take the lead. No player in the league, like you said, a player's only done it 2 times. No one will come even close to what LeBron James is doing. And I thought maybe LeBron wasn't that player anymore. We haven't seen him hit a whatever. It was a nice layup in crunch time with the second left. I never thought we'd see that LeBron again, and the way he played last night, it just makes you say, okay, we're probably not going to see this for much longer. Let's admire it. Let's appreciate it while it's still here. Let's not take this for granted, because just like that, it'll be gone. So the fact that LeBron is still doing this in year 20, it's amazing for basketball fans to watch.
I'm just glad he didn't pull up for a 3.
Yeah. He did what he's good at. He attacked the basket. He made a great finish. And then in overtime, he made Dylan Brooks his bitch. Of course over Dylan Brooks. Said, bye-bye, Dylan Brooks. Dylan the Villain, my ass. I don't need 40. I'll still put your ass to bed. That was great to watch. That was a lot of fun. And you could tell when LeBron got that and one on Dylan Brooks to seal the deal of that game, to take the 3-1 lead. You could tell that was itching inside of him, and he was so ready for that moment, because after that, he unleashed. Yeah, he was hyped. Yeah. You haven't seen LeBron hype like that in a while, and you know that obviously he didn't discuss it and speak to the media about it, but Brooks was getting on his nerves a little bit, and he said, all right, let me put this to bed. Let me shut this guy up, and let me finish this off, and that's exactly what he did. It's exactly what he did.
3-1 lead. They're going on the road. They may or may not lose that one, but then they return to crypto, which I think they will win that game in Game 6.
Yeah, everybody's saying Grizzlies are probably going to take Game 5.
Because they're at home, and why not?
I still think the Lakers could finish it off there based on the momentum they've been having, but it definitely can go either way. Another player I want to discuss in this series is Anthony Davis. And so far, he's had some great games and he's had some not so great games. Overall,
last night, how many points? 8
for example,
points?
he had 12 and 10. Anthony Davis, if the Lakers want to go far in the playoffs, because now they're actually being discussed as serious championship contenders, Anthony Davis, hands down, needs to be the best player on the court for the Lakers at all times, or they're not going to have a chance. They got bailed out because other players stepped up for the Lakers yesterday, but AD needs to be putting up 25 and 10 every game. He needs to be consistent on the offensive end for them to go far, and hopefully he will get more consistency moving forward. I don't know why some games he just doesn't seem as willing and as energetic. But one thing that Davis has been doing that is consistent is his play on the defensive end. So despite the inconsistencies on offense, AD's been a beast on defense. I'll tell you that for sure. In the 4-game sample, in the first 4 games with the Lakers up 3-1, Anthony Davis is averaging 4.8 blocks a game and 1.8 steals a game. That's like Hakeem Olajuwon. Like those are like monster numbers. Yeah, he already has like 20 blocks in this series around. So the defensive numbers are crazy. And on top of that, players are shooting 30.7%. So 30% in this series when being guarded by Anthony Davis, shooting 23 for 75 when Anthony Davis is guarding him. Any player on the Grizzlies, 1 for 14 from 3. So one thing that will always be a given is Anthony Davis is going to be locked down on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. And he's been very impressive. So if he continues doing that and steps up on offense game after game, let alone the West, let alone the East, no team is beating this Lakers team. I have confidence in that.
No, they have the best roster, but like you said, it's only a given if Davis shows up.
Yeah.
And he's very lackadaisical sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one thing to shoot inefficiently. It's another thing to not even shoot. Sometimes he'll shoot 12 shots in a game. That's not right. He should be shooting at least 20.
Right. He had 4 points going into the fourth quarter or something like that.
And that's not from inefficiency.
He needs to be aggressive.
That's just from not being aggressive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to... I think we've spoken about this matchup enough. Or do you want to touch on one more thing?
Yeah, no. I just wanted to say that, first off, LeBron, if you see how he's playing, he's finding his open guys like Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves, D'Lo. All these players have been stepping up for the Lakers. And I think these are players that need to be those role players that LeBron has had in the past, like a Mike Miller and a Ray Allen, J.R. Smith, these players that hit timely shots when LeBron can't do it all, and they've been doing that so far with Hachimura, with Schroeder. I think it's great seeing all these role players step up. So, as long as they keep doing that, this team is it's very complete overall, very solid overall team. So I think, as long as they're doing their thing, the Lakers are in a great position. But one more thing on the Grizzlies end, Ja Morant, needs to chill.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to chill.
He's gonna flies in there too much.
Yeah, no, actually, I genuinely believe that Ja Morant is gonna have a Derrick Rose career if he doesn't stop attacking the basket like that. I love it. I love watching highlights, but it seems as though every time Ja Morant tries to drive in the basket and try to make a score, it has to be this whole flashy highlight. Props to LeBron for taking those charges, I must say.
Big charges.
Yeah, but Ja, if he lands on his head or if he lands on his hand or this, that, his knee, leg, he's fucked. Be aggressive, attack the basket, but sometimes just go for the layup. You know what I mean? So
that's just part of his game. He can't help it.
That's also a great point.
When you're going at full speed head first into these big men, which is there's going to be a lot of damage when you go into big guys like Davis and LeBron. He ends up being 5 feet in the air and he's crashing down, and he has to land on either his head or his back or his arms, and that's how he hurt his wrist.
It almost happened again.
He re-aggravated a lot last game. Yeah. He landed on his wrist because the only thing bracing his fall, and that's just not good for his future.
Exactly. I know he's definitely banged up right now, and I love watching Ja Morant play. Obviously, I love watching the Lakers beating the Grizzlies, but I want to see Ja Morant have a long career, and I want to see him, do some damage in the NBA, and if that's the case, he doesn't need to be flying out of the stadium for every fast break. So that was good Lakers talk. Let's move on to the other game from last night, which was the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks, and we probably seen arguably one of the greatest playoff performances in the history of basketball last night, with Jimmy Butler dropping 56 points and the Miami Heat taking a commanding 3-1 lead on the Milwaukee Bucks. Are the Bucks done?
Okay, what's weird is that, so normally when you have 3-1 leads or 3-1 deficits, the 3-1 team that's winning is going to win that series, I think 93% of the time. Okay, they're prohibitive favorites to win that series, but for some reason the odds makers don't think so.
All right.
Miami is only minus 150 to win the series. That's crazy. If you look at the Nuggets or the Celtics, they're like minus 20,000 to win their series. But for some reason, the betting public doesn't think Miami is a huge favorite. And it's not that they don't believe in Miami. I think they really believe in the Bucks.
They believe in the Bucks.
They believe in the Bucks, and that's partly because of Giannis missing a couple of games. Actually, he missed, you would say, 3 games because he only played 10 minutes game 1.
Yeah, he essentially missed the first 3 games of the series.
Yeah, so listen, it's a good story. Miami's up 3-1, but I have this gut feeling that they're just on borrowed time, and Giannis with 2 of the next 3 games at their home floor, I think Giannis, who's seemingly healthy, can pull off this comeback and upset.
Yeah, I think when Giannis' career comes to a close, we just have to look back and say, like, I just feel like he would come back from a 3-1 series. It's yet to happen, but he's definitely a player built for something like that. Obviously, everything is going in the Heat's direction right now, and now that Giannis, I doubt he's 100%, but he's healthy enough to play. Yeah. So he played well last night.
He played a lot of minutes.
He played well last night. The Bucks are in a hole right now, and they have to play perfect basketball moving forward because as much as we say, oh, maybe the Bucks will come back, it's 8th seed, whatever, the Heat are a damn good team. The Heat are, Butler's...
And in the playoffs, they're even better.
Butler is putting them on their back, and I think one thing we could look at is this series is really showing that the play-in tournament is kind of like... It's working. Like, the Heat, obviously, I think if they won the 7-8 matchup and versus the Celtics, it would not be like this. The Celtics probably would win that series. The Heat happened to fall. They ended up being the 8th seed, and now they're playing the Bucks, and they have a chance to advance. Adam Silver must be fucking chilling fat right now, saying, wow, I'm doing something that's working. But as for the Bucks, I'm a little bit worried for them. I know Drew Holiday and Giannis, Middleton, this team it sucks. This team, we both had them going to the finals, and I'm not going to rule that out yet, but Giannis is going to have to go fucking nuclear if they want a chance to, make a comeback in this series and potentially make a push. But the way it's looking right now, and we're going to get into this series also, the next round might be Heat Knicks, 4-8 a 5 seed and an 8 seed matchup. The last thing we expected, and that's going to be a dogfight all around. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but dude, Jimmy Butler, man, how does he do it year after year? Like in the playoffs, It's fucking him, bro.
I've never seen a player elevate his game more come playoff time than Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Last year, averaged 21.4 points in the regular season. He bumped his numbers in the postseason last year to 27.4. So we added 6 more points to his scoring average. This year, 22.9 in the regular season, 36.5 in this playoffs, which leads all players this year.
Bruh.
It's
36?
It's mind-boggling.
Bruh.
Yeah.
All right, my opinion, after what you just told me, Butler has been, and this is just a reminder, has been hands down a top 10 player in the NBA.
You're going to say something.
In the NBA,
listen,
there's no question about it. He's been top 10.
Some people say that if you are talking just playoffs, he's a top 5. Do you think he's top 5?
In terms of playoff performance, yes, I think. But when we're looking at the overall NBA players, Jimmy Butler is a top 10 player. It doesn't mean shit. Whatever goes on in the regular season doesn't mean jack. Whether they fucking are 50 and 32 or the first seed, 5 seed, Jimmy Butler will do more than enough to bring his team to the playoffs. But to Jimmy Butler, the regular season is peanuts. He doesn't give a fuck about what goes on. He'll do enough. He'll come to the playoffs. He'll elevate his game and play like an absolute superstar. And just by that enough, the fact that he could step up in the playoffs year after year, take his team to the bubble champion, take his team to the finals, almost take his team to the finals again last year. Jimmy Butler is a player that you want if obviously he didn't win one, but Jimmy Butler is a player you want on your team if you want a chance to win a championship. And personally, from what I've seen and the argument you've been making about regular season versus playoffs, I think I'd rather have Jimmy Butler in the playoffs over players like Kawhi Leonard right now. Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even I would prefer to have Jimmy Butler on my team over Devin Booker. And I would go as far as saying...
Booker's killing it.
I know, he's been killing it, but I would go as far as saying that I would rather have Jimmy Butler on my team coming into the playoffs over Jason Tatum. There are players that may be crazy in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, there are only a handful of players that could go toe-to-toe with Jimmy Butler. So...
If we're talking just his last performance, 56, I know you said it's one of the best performances ever in the playoffs.
Has to be.
I want to give you context. So this is against the Bucks, which is arguably the best defensive team in the league.
Yeah.
And it's against Giannis, who is arguably the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah.
Okay, when he tries. And they're down 15 points at one point in the second quarter, the end of the second quarter. And they come back from 15, and this is without Tyler Hero. Remember, he's out, okay? He's a top 2 to 3 scorer on that team. Just more context.
Basically,
That just adds to the fact that, like, even when his back's against the wall, Butler will come through for this Heat team.
Absolutely, yeah. That team from the 3 players of Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, and Giannis Antetokounmpo are 3 arguably top 10 defensive players in the entire NBA. I think all 3 of them finished top 10 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. And the fact that Jimmy Butler was able to get to his spots and knock down shots that he normally doesn't hit, like these 3-pointers, these mid-range J's. He's attacking the basket. He's dunking on Giannis.
All these are contested.
Yeah, bro. Jimmy Butler is playing like a fucking superstar. And if he keeps this up, if Jimmy Butler does keep this up and plays like this, the Bucks don't have a chance. I don't think the Bucks will come back down from 3-1. And also a really cool stat I saw before we move on. Jimmy Butler in Game 4, he had 22 points in the first quarter. And then you go to the fourth quarter, and he had 21 points. So that's 2 separate quarters in that game where he had 20-plus points. Last player to do that, Russell Westbrook, April 12th against the Pacers in 2015. So you don't see that often. A player not to score 20 points in one quarter is already insane. To do it 2 times in a game and score 20 points in 2 separate quarters, Jimmy Butler, you're fucking him. I have nothing else to say about you besides the fact that you are Jimmy Butler.
Was one of those 21s in the fourth?
21 in the fourth and then 22 in the
Even
first.
better, in the most important quarter.
Absolutely. He steps up when it matters most. Jimmy Butler, you a fucking dog. You a dog. Okay. What's next?
Want to switch conferences again?
Let's go back to the West. Let's go back to the West. So we got going.
We got Kings Warriors, which is arguably the most entertaining.
Definitely the most entertaining series so far.
Matchup because of the scoring.
Yeah.
A lot of scoring and just a lot of exciting players. Kings had the 2-zip lead, and then we head over to San Fran, or the Bay, where the Curry and the crew tied up again.
Won both games at home.
And yeah, so I think you could say that the Warriors retook the series, and they're surely the favorite. They have a lot of the momentum. How do you think the rest of the series is going to play out?
The true test is winning a game in Sacramento. So, first off, I want to say it's kind of crazy that, if I'm not mistaken, this is the only series that's tied 2-2 right now.
Really?
And it's so crazy to say because, yeah, the Lakers up 3-1, the Knicks up 3-1, all these teams up 3-1. It doesn't feel like it. All these games are so competitive. Like, I'm not even paying attention to the records because every game is just so entertaining. And the fact that this is the only series that's 2-2 boggles my mind. But when it comes to discussing the series and the Warriors regaining control, I think right now it's 50-50, and I would give the Warriors the benefit of the doubt and the upper hand if they shown that they can win games on the road, and they couldn't. And the series played out exactly as expected. Kings stole both games at home because, the Warriors struggle, and then the Warriors came back home where they thrive, and they won both of those games. And the last game, obviously, it was very close. It was a nail-biter, but ultimately the Warriors closed it out, and I think moving forward, if the Warriors can just steal Game 5 and take Game 5 in Sacramento, the series is theirs.
Yeah, they take Game 5, they won the series in 6.
Yeah. And also, Game 6 Clay is coming.
Totally forgot
Game
about that.
6 Clay. I don't know if anyone knows who Game 6 Clay is.
I believe in
but
that.
He's coming. I genuinely believe Game 6 Clay is a real thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, actually,
and he knows it. He's actually spoken to the media about it.
Absolutely.
He believes in the hype. And,
yeah, bro. I know whatever happens in Game 5, if the Kings take it, I think the Warriors will finally, come out of those struggles and win a game on the road. But if they don't, and that would also mean they won 3 in a row, which is going to be tough to do. I think maybe the Kings, also Fox is hurt. Let's see if the Kings take it. If not, you go to Game 6, down 3-2. Game 6, Clay will do his thing, force that to 7. But also that's the thing. If this series, we discussed this before, if this series goes to 7, I don't think the Warriors win it. But then again, exactly,
they have the third worst road record in the league.
The Warriors need to steal a game on the road. But when it also comes to the Warriors, if we put all this aside, the Warriors' history is just so significant here. They're versing an inexperienced young Kings team who has been great, and they have great coaching and overall a very solid team who can make a push. But they just matched up with the wrong team in the first round. I if I were to bet on a team, I would bet on the team that has won 4 NBA championships over the past 8 years. One of the best players the game has ever seen in Steph Curry. Another great shooter in Klay Thompson, and overall just a great roster. As much as I enjoy watching the Kings, history is on the Warriors' side. They will overcome the road woes and finish the series in 6.
You know what's also on their side? The injury gods. You know,
Yeah. Every year the injuries just go.
Every year or so, the opposition has to get dinged up in some kind of in some way.
Yep.
It was Kawhi, CP3. It was Kyrie in 2015. It always happens. And this year it's De'Aaron Fox. He is going to play next game, but he has a broken finger. So we don't know what he's going to be like. And this is what he's contributing to this Kings team. He's averaging 31.5 points. Leads this. No, he's tied with Curry for the most points in this series. 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2.5 steals. That leads all players this series.
Gosh, bro.
So he's a two-way player, and he's lighting it up in the scoring column. If he's hobbled, like you said, like there's no way. If they lose game 5, there's no way they win, especially if he's hobbled. They need Fox to play even 90% of what he could be.
Yeah.
If his finger bothers him, then they have no chance.
Listen, Fox has shown in the regular season that he's the most clutch player. He won the award, and even in these playoffs, he's proving it because he leads the entire playoffs in points in the clutch, I think, with 20, and next closest is Curry with 12 last time I checked. So Fox is still big time, and I think the finger injury won't hold him back. He should be fine. I think he's going to hit his shots, and Fox is going to do his thing. It's about, which overall team is going to outperform the other, and I think when it comes to a player like Draymond Green and what he brings to the table for the Warriors will probably be the difference maker, because although everybody gets a little annoyed by Draymond's antics, stepping on Domantas Sabonis, obviously, we didn't get a chance to speak about that, but that was definitely a little bit of questionable action by Draymond.
Well, Sabonis grabbed his leg.
Whatever happened with that happened. Draymond has had a history of, making these questionable plays, but with Draymond, with the bad comes the good. So you're just going to have to deal with the bad, because if you deal with the bad and the nonsense that Draymond provides, he'll make big plays for you. He'll make a big block. He'll get a big stop. He'll even score some timely buckets, and he'll contribute to winning basketball. So I know Curry, everyone on the Warriors knows what comes with Draymond. They're not going to interfere, because Draymond, to play at his best, needs to be Draymond. Draymond just needs to be Draymond. Nobody can interfere with that, and although there will be some frustrating moments, at the end of it all, he'll help your team win. So I think that'll continue to be a trend moving forward. So let's see what happens.
Listen, he's playing for his tenure with the Warriors. If he underperforms,
basically,
he might be out next season.
No, he has a contract on the line.
They'll pick up his option, but they might trade him. You never know. Let's keep it in the West. Last matchup in the West. Let's do Clippers Suns, and then we'll do Knicks Cavs, which we were the most excited for.
What I've been waiting for.
Let's do Clippers Suns.
Okay.
It's just really disappointing that it's just not a fair fight. And in my whenever KD, it's KD versus Russ, it's just never a fair fight. It's Russ with that 6 seed Thunder team versus KD with that unbeatable Warriors team. Similar to this one, it's just not a fair fight.
Yeah.
Russ is doing everything he can and more, and just not getting it done.
I think we were just robbed of, a legendary series. I think if, Kawhi, Paul George, everybody, from both teams were 100%, this series could have gone to 7. And I honestly think, based on the series has gone without those players, due to how great of a coach Tyronn Lue is, if the Clippers were healthy, they probably could have beat the Suns in a 7-game series. And it's so unfortunate to say, because year after year after year, we always see this issue come up with the Clippers, whether it's Kawhi, whether it's Paul George. We never see them together in the playoffs. The only time we did, they blew a 3-1 lead against the Nuggets 3 years ago. And since then, it's been one guy or the other, or both guys out. So it's been frustrating to watch.
Listen, it's the Kawhi-George tandem, or the Clippers as a whole. They might be one of the most disappointing experiments in the past, in this century.
I think that's starting to become a conversation.
Yes.
And I don't think, they're necessarily going to break apart yet and, give up on it, because they just added a potential new dynamic, a new member of what you can call a big three, because I think Russell Westbrook absolutely has rejuvenated his career with the Los Angeles Clippers, and it's a sight to see.
You're a prisoner of the moment.
I'm truly happy to watch it. I'm not a prisoner of shit. Westbrook, and he's had MVP season, and he's had great playoff runs. This may be his best playoff series.
I'm looking at the numbers. It's insane. The efficiency
Break it down, bro.
is what's eye-opening.
Yeah, bro.
Averaging 31.7 a night, But it's one thing to get all these points, which he's done, or even the assists and rebounds and the steals and blocks. But the efficiency is something that's never been... Like, we never think of Russ and efficiency in the same sentence.
Never, no.
And right now, he's averaging 54.4% from the field, which is very good for Russ, or even any player. He makes half his threes. He's making 50% from 3-point lands.
Is this Russell Westbrook we're talking about?
He's normally a 30% shooter, or sometimes even 20% shooter. And right now, which is mind-boggling, he's hitting 93% of his free throws, okay? So on all three levels of scoring, from the field, 3, and free throw, he's somehow become Steph Curry. Steph Curry and LeBron into one. But the thing is, I think he's on borrowed time, and I think he's going to regress. His numbers are nice, but there's no way he does it again tonight. On the road, Game 5, they're a huge underdog. I think the Suns close out tonight.
They may or may not close. I think when it comes to the Phoenix Suns, they're obviously going to win this series because they just have the talent and the Clippers are injured. But I don't think the Suns are playing to their potential. Like, they have 2 stars with KD, who's putting up 30, Devin Booker, who's having a great playoff run also. He's had a 45-point game, and they're playing well. I feel like they're not playing together, and these games are closer than they should be. Like, for example, one of the games, Tyronn Lue closed out with a small ball lineup with, like, Terrence Mann being, like, the tallest guy in the court, and they were just struggling to close out that game. There were certain games that the Suns should have won by, like, 20, but due to the Clippers' great coaching and their chemistry that they've had, they were able to be close in these series, but Suns are going to win this. KD's going to do his thing. Booker's going to close out the series. But I think moving forward, if they verse the Nuggets, I don't know if this current Suns team can get past this Nuggets, who has a great chemistry, a great offense, great defense, potential MVP. Obviously, the Suns have the star players, but if the Suns want to move forward and make a finals run, they need to play together. They need to complement each other's basketball. KD and they could do their ISO shit or whatever. My turn, your turn. But overall, I think if they want to go far, they need to have a great chemistry and they need to make each other better. And that just hasn't been the case so far. So
when they play Jokic and the Nuggets, DeAndre Ayton will be the X factor.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got to step up his game even more.
Yeah, and I think as the playoffs progress and as we go game by game, series by series, the Suns will start playing better together, and they're going to get experience as they move on, and they have been, and they will tonight in Game 5. I want to see Westbrook have another fucking monster performance, 40-point triple-double.
I think he shoots at least...
Force it to 6. That would be dope if Westbrook
he shoots at least 30 shots.
He's going to be chucking. Him and Norman Powell are going to be chucking. They're going to try to get as much offense as possible. But I just think overall, seeing Westbrook receive all that hate and whether he picks this up moving forward in next season and moving forward, whatever it is, to see him perform like this in this series after all the bullshit he's had to deal with the Lakers and all the hate he's been getting, all this nonsense, for him to put all that aside and just play basketball the right way, it's satisfying to watch because you don't see that often with Russell Westbrook. But the Clippers are done. The Clippers series is probably going to be over after tonight. There will be a lot of questions surrounding the Clippers, moving forward. But it's likely looking like it's going to be Suns Nuggets in the next round.
Yeah.
So, what we got next, man?
To the finale, the headliner, Knicks versus Cavs.
Go New York, go New York, go! Yeah, baby, the New York Knicks. I'm going to have to cut you off because I got to tell y'all how I feel. The New York Knicks are fucking back, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you guys know, but me and Cyrus are diehard Knicks fans. We've been waiting our entire lives for this moment. So it is good to finally be back here. Truly, it feels like basketball heaven. And we haven't been in this position. The Knicks are currently up 3-1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We haven't been in this position since we've had Carmelo Anthony, and truly, I just don't know how to feel. I don't know how to react because for once, the New York Knicks are fucking good.
Yeah.
How are we feeling, man?
It's not so much that it's not just that they're good. I love their road. Listen, this might be bold, but I think they can reach the finals.
They can.
And a few things from other teams and other matchups have to go their way. Let me break it down, okay? So right now, they're beating the Cavs 3-1. They already beat them 3-1 in the regular season, okay?
Yeah, 6-2 overall.
If the Heat can close that series against the Bucks, they play the Heat, the Knicks play the Heat. The Knicks beat the Heat 3-1 in the regular season, okay?
Yeah.
So we've shown the capability to beat the Heat. Then after that, we would likely play the Celtics if the Celtics
beat the Sixers. And we
beat them 3-1.
We've shown we could beat the Celtics also. And I agree with Silas. I think there is absolutely a path to the championship for the New York Knicks. I agree. We may sound biased, but we just gave you guys the stats. It's very much possible.
It's plausible. The one loss against the Celtics, they're 3-1.
Yeah.
The one loss was I looked it up, their 9th game of the season, okay?
Okay.
This was November. This is
a different Knicks team. This is absolutely a different Knicks team.
The Knicks hadn't learned how to win yet.
Yeah.
And this is when the Celtics were at their hottest.
Mm-hmm.
They were the hottest team to start the season. The roles have reversed. And in a few weeks, we'll be talking about the Knicks representing the East.
Wow, we can talk about the New York Knicks representing the East in the NBA Finals. Oh my God. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You know, me and Cyrus are diehard, biased Knicks fans, but we have every right to believe that way because we're up against the 4 seed, the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers. We're up 3-1, so I'm going to say it. It's fuck Donovan Mitchell. It's still fuck Trae Young, honestly, since we're on top like this. I don't know if you guys are seeing the streets of Manhattan right now, but if the New York Knicks do manage to make the finals, New York City will be shut down. And fuck Trae Young and fuck Donovan Mitchell will continue, and these fans will be on top of the world because they deserve it. So I hope the Knicks run continues, and I hope they can keep making some noise in these playoffs the way they have been.
It'll... Like, a part of their postseason success is going to ride on Randall. He's still dealing with that ankle injury.
Yes.
I'm looking at his numbers. Yes. He's averaging 32% from the field, 26% from 3, only 18 points total in the last 2 games.
Yes.
He actually scored more points in the first 2 games coming back from that 5-game layoff from his injury than in his last 2 games. So the injury is getting worse. He's playing worse as the series goes on. So we need him to somehow regain his health, his all-star form. And yeah, it's contingent on him being good. Brunson is leading the series in points and steals, 2.3 steals per game. He's only missed 1 free throw. He's 16 for 17 from free throw line.
It's amazing.
So we know he's gonna hit clutch free throws when it matters. Barrett finally had a good game, 26 in game 4. He was disastrous in the first few games, only 10.5 the first 2 games on average. But yeah, if we fire on all cylinders, this New York Knicks team looks incredible, and I'm really optimistic about their outlook.
Agreed. I'm optimistic as well, and like you were saying about Julius Randle, you know, it's a complicated situation, and we've seen Randle in the last playoff series, you know, not, you know, step up in the moment, whether it's injury or not. Randle hasn't let the game come to him, which has been annoying to watch because Randle can be playing a lot better. And he shouldn't feel like the world is on his shoulders because he has Jalen Brunson and he has RJ Barrett who's finally stepping up. Randle just needs to play his game and don't overcomplicate things, and this Knicks team could go so far. Thankfully, now we can get away with, you know, Randle having a poor game, a poor outing, because other players like Josh Hart, like Brunson, like Barrett will step up and overshadow that. But moving forward against the Heat or Bucks, no matter who it is moving forward, Randle can't play like that, and we expect this Knicks team to go far.
It's not Randle or Brunson. It's Randle
and Brunson.
Have to
Between Randle, Brunson, and Barrett, 2 of those players always need to be stepping up and having a good game. And if all 3 of those players have good games, then they can go as far as going to the NBA championship. I don't want to say winning it because I'm not that delusional, but anything is possible going this far. But all I ask from Julius Randle, Game 5, when we go to Cleveland, you're not in the crowd of MSG, you're not in the pressure. Step up, have a big game, close out the series, and everything will be put behind you. All those bad performances, nobody will give a fuck. They just want to see you have one baller game, one statement game, and you have an opportunity to do that in Cleveland. So Randle, best of luck to you. We're all rooting for you. Hopefully he's not fucking discouraged because he has shown poor body language on the court. He needs to fucking play like the man that dropped 57 points in a regular season game this season and just show why the Knicks are invested in him, because Jalen Brunson has absolutely been doing his thing. Jalen Brunson going down the stretch is so fun to watch. The way he closes out games, hits clutch buckets, hits mid-ranges, creates shots for himself, iso ball. Brunson has been the best player on the court in these playoffs, and if he continues doing that, he's going to take us far, and I am happy we have Jalen Brunson. And to talk about Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs a little bit, Donovan Mitchell, you know, as amazing as he's been in the playoffs, he just wasn't built for the lights of Madison Square Garden, and everybody was expecting him to have that signature game in MSG, and the Knicks just absolutely locked down the Cavs, and they had an amazing game plan. In Game 3, they held the Cavs to 32 points at halftime, 79 points at the game, only time all season that a team has been held under 80 points, which is very impressive.
We did it.
The Knicks have been playing hands down the best defense in the playoffs so far, locking down the Cavs. And the Cavs are the number one defense, and we're beating them.
Yeah.
We're beating them. We're showing our offense. We're very comfortable on offense. Our bigs, Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, have by far been outplaying Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley and Allen have been playing relatively soft, and you're seeing Mitchell Robinson out-rebound them, out like dominate them in the paint. So I just think that Knicks top to bottom have a better roster. They have playmakers. Josh Hart has been a huge role player for us, and Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and even Barrett is showing it. These are players that are built for the playoffs, built for the big stage, and if they keep playing this way, then I don't see any team beating the Knicks either.
Okay, I look forward to the next few weeks.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
I'm fucking excited, and also, yeah, with RJ Barrett playing like this, it's exciting. You know, he just dropped 26 in Game 4. Hopefully, he has another big game in Game 5. RJ Barrett is showing the Knicks that he's proving to the Knicks that they made the right decision not getting Donovan Mitchell and investing in Barrett. Barrett is showing you guys shouldn't have traded for Mitchell. Let me do my thing. Trust me, I'm a ball out. He's outperforming Donovan Mitchell, which is so fun to watch. And I'm happy, you know, with this Knicks roster. I'm happy we kept Brunson over trading Mitchell, and, you know, all of that. Barrett playing well, Brunson playing well, Mitchell playing poorly. This is all being evident in these playoffs, and it is showing that the Knicks made the fucking right decision here. And that's that. I'm excited. New York Knicks winning the 2023 NBA champions. That's all I gotta say.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I just want to say, give a betting nugget before we wrap it up. Okay.
Let's hear it, baby.
This is crazy. Mm-hmm. And if you're a betting man, you have to listen to this stat. In the last 3 NBA playoffs, the outright winner is 188-15 against the spread. Okay.
Wow.
And in just this year's playoffs, they're 30-2. The only 2 times where they didn't cover the spread was Suns in Game, I think, 3. They won by 5. They were a 7.5-point favorite, and the Warriors last game when they won by 1 against the Kings. Okay,
right.
But in every single other game this playoffs, 30 times the favorite either covered the spread or the underdog won. So this is the tip. If you are betting the favorite, if you like the favorite, take them to cover the spread, okay?
Not gambling advice, not financial advice.
Yeah. Listen,
but the stats back it up.
I'm a bettor, and I don't want people to lose when they bet, okay? So I'm going to help them out. If you like the favorite, take them to cover. If you like the underdog, take them to win outright. Not with the points. Take them to win money line, okay? That's my spiel. Anything else?
That's a wrap. All I want to say is the New York Knicks are poetry in motion on the hardwood floor, and they are putting the Cavs to bed in Game 5. And with that being said, that is officially a wrap for episode 8 of the 2-Minute Drill podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed. We hope you guys are enjoying the playoffs. And after you watch the playoffs, kick back, relax, watch 2 boneheads, 2 fucking knuckleheads. Talk about sports the way we want to, the way we like it. It's free fly. We get to, you know, discuss anything we want, anything you guys want us to talk about. Drop it in the comments. Leave a like, leave a comment, smash that subscribe button. Tell your boys to watch, tell your family to watch, tell every single person you know to watch the 2-Minute Drill podcast, because we are the greatest sports podcast on the planet, in the universe. So make sure you tune in for more episodes. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.